Hey guys, Poppy back again today with another pickup video, and today I am almost exclusively focused on my Xbox collection. I've been working on that library now for 2 or 3 years. I'm determined to get the whole thing, and just recently I was on vacation and I got to go to a couple different towns around. So I stopped in some of my favorite spots for picking up video games, Beats and Bites in St. John, New Brunswick, as well as for the first time in about 3 years I got down to Bangor, Maine, and got to stop at a couple great places there as well, Game Citadel and Bull Moose. So I can't wait to show you what I got. Stick around.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Check out IntellivisionCollector.com after the video for all your Intellivision collecting needs, including the new homebrew releases, The Show Must Go On, and Vanguard, plus upcoming releases, Penguin Land, and Poker Risque.
Ooh la la.
That's IntellivisionCollector.com. Okay guys, before I start, I am going to have my craft brew of the day, and this is one I don't have very often. It is a Grimross from Fredericton, New Brunswick, and I just love this can. It's a juicy IPA, strong beer. 6.5%, but I love the illustrations on the can itself. It's like Yellow Submarine from the Beatles, and I just think it was a really appealing looking can, so I wanted to try it out. Oh, the beer smells great, I'll tell you that. Grimross is not one that I drink a whole lot of. Not that there's anything I don't like about it. I just haven't really bought that many of their beers. I don't even know if you can get them at the liquor store here where in my town. But anyway, let's try this one out. All right. Kind of a hazy color, which is not surprising for an IPA. Poured with a real nice head in it. Let's take a taste. Citrusy, hoppy, but definitely not too much. It's a strong beer, but it doesn't taste overwhelming. I really like that one. That one not only has a great looking can, it's a great tasting beer right there. Grimross Juicy IPA. If you get an opportunity to try one out, you're going to notice a can with the Yellow Submarine on it right there. I highly recommend trying it out. Cheers. Alright, so let's start this one off. We're going to go pretty quick through this because I actually have quite a few games here for my Xbox collection. And I'm going to start with some games I got from Beats and Bites, someplace I've gotten all kinds of games from in the past. We were up there, just went up for a drive one day up to St. John, New Brunswick, stopped at Beats and Bites, thought I'd check out, see what they had. I've gone through that pile umpteen times, but you never know, there's a few odd things still coming in and bolstering up their Xbox library. And it's also one that I found a lot of Platinum Hits games in, and that's where I'm going to start out today. I got a copy of Dead or Alive 3 Platinum Hits version. Beautiful condition copy. Can't beat it, actually. It's the very best. Of course, I have it for the regular collection, and I just really like the looks of that one for the Platinum Hits collection for sure. So really happy to add that one. And then there's one that I need for my black box or green box collection, but I found it in the Platinum Hits instead. And that's got a neat little sticker on it from Christmas, but it's Shark Tale. And I don't know if I'll play this game a whole lot. I actually do like a lot of the Disney games that were out for the systems back at that time. This isn't Disney, of course. This is DreamWorks, but, you know, that style of game. I can remember the very first movie I ever took 64-bit for life to was Finding Nemo. And coincidentally, Finding Nemo is also one of the very first games that I got for my Xbox, my original Xbox, way back when I first got it around 2005. So it's a really kind of a neat game. And these, as much as I probably will never play them, I really do enjoy collecting them very much. And this one, great condition. I got the Platinum Hits disc, the regular manual. Really happy to add Shark Tale. Then, of course, we got filler. There's lots of filler left. I have lots of basketball games. I tried to get a lot of things like that. I got all the Maddens. I got all the Tom Clancy's. I got all the NASCARs because there's umpteen of those. But one thing I didn't get, I have all the NHLs as well because I really kind of like hockey, right? But I'm not a basketball fan. So I haven't got all the basketball games, so I'm still picking them up now and again. And that would be College Hoops 2K6 for this one. I've talked before about how the college basketball games aren't as big in my mind around this area. We're not in the U.S. College basketball is very big in the U.S. And yes, we watch March Madness. We follow it as well. But it's certainly not the phenomenon that it is in the States. So they're just not as common around here to find either. But in this case, I did get for $4, I think, I get College Hoops 2K6. So I'm happy to add that one to the collection. And again, in really good shape. So nice to add that. This one actually is a game that I don't know a whole lot about. It's a racing game. It's from Capcom. Group S Challenge. There's so many racing games on the Xbox, and I do love my racing games, to be quite honest. But this one, just whenever you see a name like Capcom, you start to think, well, it must be something different about this one. It looks like a realistic type, it's like a Porsche on the back. Realistic type racing game. I don't know. But I'll guarantee you this, anything that Capcom makes for the most part, I mean, I want to try to pick up. Not to mention the fact that I needed it for the library. But anyway, very lucky to pick up Group S Challenge racing game from Capcom. Last but not least, from Beats and Bytes. They have a deal where if you games are less than $20, if you buy 5 of them, you get 20% off. So frankly, I only found 4 that I needed per se. But I did find this one for what I thought was a very good price. And frankly, I was missing the manual. And that is Rocky. I love Rocky. I loved the original movie when it came out when I was a kid. I loved it. And I loved all the follow-ups. Rocky 2, Rocky 3 was one of my absolute all-time favorites. And I even loved Rocky 4 because I found it really inspirational type. It is what it is, right? It's cheesy. It's again, I'll just say it is what it is. But I like it. I like all the Rocky movies. So it meant something to me. The game itself, and of course I had to get that manual right there. So I have an extra copy of Rocky available if anybody's looking for one. I won't have a manual for you. But really, really happy to add this one. And it gave me my 5th game in order to get the 20% off. So if I hadn't got it, it would have cost me more than if I did get it. So yeah, and I got the manual. Right on. The day after we went to St. John, we did something we hadn't been able to do due to the pandemic for a long time. And we took a day trip down to Bangor, Maine. And I'm about 100 miles away from Bangor. It's only a couple-hour drive. We used to do it all the time. In fact, when I was 6 years old, my oldest sister, who passed away 15 years ago now. It's amazing to think it's been that long. But she moved to Bangor when I was 6 years old. So I spent a lot of time there growing up. But anyway, there's still a couple great places in Bangor, Maine to pick up some games. And the first one I went to is out on Broadway in Bangor. And it's called the Game Citadel. I've gotten some games from the Game Citadel before, and I've gotten some really great prices. And I was really thankful to go into that place that day. And I picked out a few games. I picked out 5 games. And they were willing to dicker with me a little bit. Like, I made them an offer, and the guy looked at it, looked through them all, and goes, oh, yeah, that sounds great. I gave him the money, and away I went. So I was really, really happy with the place. It is an old-time mom-and-pop style gaming store, and not just video games, but also just gaming in general. So a lot of card games, board games, etc., etc. So it's an awesome spot. If you're ever in Bangor, Maine, check out Game Citadel for sure. So first and foremost, I just recently got this one for my black box or green box collection, but I got the Platinum Hits version of Spy Hunter. So, they're kind of hard to come by. So when I saw this, it rains it pours, right? I didn't have any of the Spy Hunters, and I picked them all up in the last little while, so I was really happy to pick that up. Next is one that I actually had, but the price was really good on this one, and the copy that I had was very sun damaged, sun faded, right? And I picked up a copy. You may have seen the Angry Video Game Nerd episode on Drake of the 99 Dragons, and this one is in pretty good shape. Manual, disc, the whole shooting match, no fade whatsoever. Really happy to pick up basically an upgrade on that. So I'm going to pull my copy of that. I'm going to have a copy of that available for trade as well. So really happy with that one. I had the manual with the other one, but just like I say, the artwork was faded somewhat in the one that I had. Next, I have another Platinum Hits copy. Really ordinary game. I got Conflict Desert Storm. It's kind of weird because I got this for like $3. And I had looked at this a couple different times in the store, for whatever reason hadn't picked it up. Then I thought, I'll get it the next time, and then I couldn't get it the next time because I didn't. It's just a long story to say that this is a game that I almost got about 3 or 4 times in the Platinum Hits version. Well, I finally broke down and picked it up. So really happy to have that one. Will I ever play it? Yeah, maybe actually, because I kind of like games like that. And this is supposed to be a pretty good one. But anyway, if nothing else, it's one more in my Platinum Hits collection. Next up is a game, another racing game from Game Citadel, and I got V-Rally 3, which is not all that easy of a game to get. Unfortunately, when I picked all these games up off the shelf, they had them inside other cases, sort of like old rental cases, right? And or the kind you would see a game in Walmart where they have to take it out of it before they give it to you to go home with it. But anyway, so I couldn't check, and unfortunately, this one did not have the manual. I didn't find out basically until I'd already sort of made the offer and the guy was going through them. Now I did need this one. This one is not a real inexpensive game either, but at the end of the day, I didn't get the manual, and that's okay. I'll pick up the manual sometime, somehow, or I'll just pick up another copy of the game like I did with Rocky, right? But in the meantime, this one was there. It was a good price, and I'm happy to add this one to my collection. Subaru Rally Team USA V-Rally 3. There's so many racing games on the Xbox. It's amazing. Now, here's one that I don't know a whole lot about this game, but I've seen it everywhere. I've seen copies without manuals. I've seen good. I don't see it very often, but it's sort of funny because after I picked up this one, it was on one of the auction sites that I always join and follow. And I know I've seen it in other systems as well. I think it's pretty big on the GameCube, but it is Cell Damage. Real neat artwork style game, adventure game, part demolition derby, part whacked out cartoon come to life. So this one is in really good condition. Very happy to add it to my collection. I do have a sticker on the disc, but that's okay. The manual itself is in really good condition, and it's a really thick manual. But anyway, from Game Citadel, I got those 5 games. The last one, Cell Damage. Really happy to add it. So last but not least in Bangor, after we went to Game Citadel, went around to the mall, a few other places, went shopping with MSC, I wanted to go over to Bull Moose, which is a sort of like a chain thrift store. Not a thrift store, it's a used book, movie, video game, potpourri of different pop culture things, and it's a very unique kind of store. There's stores in like all over Maine. I think there's 4 or 5 in Maine. There's some in New Hampshire, but this one is the closest one to where I live there in Bangor. So it's a type of place where you go in and you make an offer. You don't make offers on games. They have clubs. They have program cards where you get points for buying things from them, and then you get discounts according to the points. So, when you have a company with a larger company with a program like that, you're not as interested in worried about haggling and stuff because they have their own built-in savings if you're a good customer. So I had a few saved up, even though I hadn't been there in like 2 or 3 years, and I didn't even know it, but I found my card in my wallet. She checked it out. I ended up getting like 20% off, or she said, yeah, you got quite a few points here. I'll give you quite a bit off. So you can't beat it. But first of all, before I get to the games, what I got was a movie that I have been looking for such a long time, and that is called Eating Raul. And it is a, what's his name? Paul Bartel and Mary Wiranov movie from about 1982, 83. I can remember seeing this at the movies with Siskel and Ebert. They did a review of this B movie, for lack of a better term. You might know Bartel and Warnoff from something as prominent as Rock and Roll High School with PJ Souls. They're the stars of this movie, where they're a prudish couple living in a society of free sex, and it's a very restricted, dark humor movie that I've looked for forever. It's not available on any of my streaming services, and I suppose I could have ordered it off Amazon, but I just sort of wanted to come across it. Well, I finally did. Very happy to add Eating Raul, and if you've never heard of it, look it up and find it and watch it sometime. It was a highly rated movie back then for a B movie, and man, it's just this deep, dark humor right there. I love it. All right, so let's get to the games I got from Bull Moose, and there's no real super ones here, but it's a lot of filler, but I got really good deals on them. And the first one I got is World Championship Pool 2004. Again, nothing too fancy, but complete in box, $6.97, and I got a great deal on that. I got to clean these up, get those labels off them. But pool games are okay. I'm not a big pool game fan, but it was nice to add stuff like that to my collection when I have those holes. Next one up, NFL Primetime 2002. This has got a little bit of sun fade maybe on the spine, but overall it's really good shape. Disc, manual, $5 plus the discounts, so whatever those were, and it's in the original case because it's still got the holograph on the case right there, so that's really nice to have. Next up, I talked about the college basketball stuff, NCAA college basketball, 2K3, lots of stickers on that. Got to clean this one up. Man, that's a heavy game though, and it's got little poster mailer in there. The manual is thick as blazes, and of course there's a disc right there. Sega Sports, I get a kick out of these kind of because these are the follow through Dreamcast 2 games like NBA 2K1. Well, here's NCAA 2K3. That's the engine from Sega, and it would have been on the Dreamcast, but of course the Dreamcast was no more. That's why we call sometimes the Xbox the Dreamcast 2. Is kind of neat. Right at college basketball, we have ESPN College Hoops 2K5. The ESPN games, again, all the same engine, different skins. Put it in the NCAA universe. Give the actual players who play the game absolutely nothing for it, but give the colleges and give the owners a ton of money and rip off the kids who are playing basketball. Anyway, that's the way I look at college basketball in the States, but, so be it. All right, and what do we got? We got a couple more here. Oh, might as well do one more basketball. Look at this. NCAA March Madness 2004. Same thing. Shut it down a little bit with the NCAA because I needed so many of them. This one was $3. Plus, I probably got half off that. So, NCAA March Madness 2004. Happy to add that one. And then I'm going to go to soccer games. And I got FIFA Soccer 2005 from EA Sports. I love the soccer games. Soccer's the biggest sport in the world. Sorry, they may not be in this part of the world. Growing all the time, mind you. But it's far and away the biggest sport in the world. I mean, the only thing close to it is probably hockey. That played in the most countries, but hockey is seasonal, right? Like you can only play it in certain climates, whereas you can play football, soccer anywhere in the world, and every country does. So, anyway, FIFA Soccer 2005 finally added that one to my collection. And last but not least, we'll stick with soccer. $3 game, probably played half of that, and I got 2002 FIFA World Cup. I really do love watching the World Cups on TV, and thankfully this year it's in Qatar, I think, here in November, and Canada's going to be in it for the first time since 1986, which I can remember when they were in it last. It was in the States or in Mexico City or someplace like that last time Canada was in it. Anyway, I'll probably watch the whole thing because I always do love watching the World Cup, and it's going to be different having it in November because it'll be winter around here, but that's okay. It's going to be even more strange to have Canada in it at all, so hey, so be it. Anyway, FIFA World Cup 2002, great edition. Well, guys, that's it for today's pickup video. It's a lot of filler, as you can see. Nothing really too expensive here by any stretch of the imagination, but it's always nice to go and find these little pieces in the library that you need. Sometimes, even though they're not expensive games, even though they're not like super popular games, there's something special to be said for that one NCAA title that you just can't find. And then when you see it, why are you getting excited over $3-4 games? Because I had such a hard time finding it overall. Anyway, Coco, what do you think? Getting all cleaned up there? Yep, it's about time to call it a day. Thank you so much for spending a bit of time with Coco and I here today. We will be back sometime soon. Do you think we'll have another pickup video sometime, Coco? We probably will, won't we? Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age.
Hello, Dolly Popke here, and you're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What the hell?